SpaceX, Starlink, or China? The EU's third option fails. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I don't have AT today, but I hope you do. Joining me maybe with a cup of tea or maybe a cup of coffee as we hang out talking about tech and space and SpaceX and maybe Linux and some things. So today is going to be a SpaceX kind of day. We're going to be talking about the EU. We're talking about SpaceX and Elon Musk and the government and all kinds of other things. It's kind of interesting what's been going on over there with the EU, and I want to give you my thoughts on it, but I want to hear from you, especially if you are located in the EU or if you maybe know even more than I do about this. And I was reading an article over on The Verge, and I think it was interesting. I want to share it with you and then, of course, provide you with my commentary as I always do. But more importantly, this channel is about you, not me, some talking head on YouTube. Down below in the comments, I want to hear from you. What do you think about all of this? If you're shy, you don't want to put something down there, it's okay. Put an emoji down here. That will be very, very appreciated because at least I know that you actually watched the video. So if you enjoyed the video, even in the least, I ask that you throw it a thumbs up. That's very helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not. If you are, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Click the notification button over here so when I go live, when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work on this channel, there's a little thank you button right down there. You can click on that, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, it's perfectly fine. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you want more SpaceX Starlink specific content, I've put together over 465 videos just for you. I'll put a link over here. Don't click on it yet. That link will be there. So when you're done watching this video, go back and take a look. Helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, and of course the why, as I always say, about it all. This channel is always about the why. So if you have not checked out a JC Live, or as we call it, Free Speech Friday, check us out on Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Once again, 8:30 p.m. The FCC Commissioner warns Europe, Starlink or risk it all. The FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr is urging European allies to lean into U.S. satellite technologies like Elon Musk, SpaceX, Starlink, rather than seeking alternatives from China. In a recent interview, Carr emphasized the strategic stakes, warning that a technological alliance with China could pose a far greater risk than any concerns tied to Elon Musk. If you're concerned about Musk, you should be alarmed by China. Speaking to the Financial Times, Carr cautioned that Europe's hesitation over Elon Musk's involvement in global communication could open the door for China's satellite push. Quote, if you're concerned about Elon Musk and Starlink, you should be more concerned about the Chinese Communist Party, or the CCP. At least Elon Musk isn't going to cut off Ukraine. Starlink, operated by Elon Musk SpaceX, boasts the world's largest satellite network, with over 7,100 satellites providing both internet access and limited mobile connectivity. Despite its critical role, particularly in conflict zones like Ukraine, some European nations have reportedly paused SpaceX Starlink purchase agreements. The hesitation follows a controversial post by Musk on X stating that Ukraine's, quote, entire front line would collapse if he turned off Starlink. Europe's lagging alternatives and China's aggressive moves. Europe's satellite providers have struggled to compete. France's EU Telsat, considered a regional leader, operates roughly 1/10 the number of satellites that SpaceX Starlink does. Even more challenging, EU Telsat charges around 10 times more for its terminals. 10 times less satellites, 10 times more for the terminals. Meanwhile, China's state-backed company, SpaceSail, is moving aggressively, with 90 satellites currently in orbit and plans of 15,000 by 2030, setting the stage for a direct challenge to Starlink's dominance. 15,000 by 2030. Will never happen. Caught between powers, Europe's strategic crossroads. Carr suggests that Europe is stuck in a geopolitical tug of war. Quote, Europe is caught between the U.S. and China, he says, warning of a growing technological divide between the CCP-allied countries and the rest of the world. He believes a, quote, great divide is forming in AI and satellite technology. Anti-American tech policies under fire. Carr didn't just stop at satellites. He also accused European regulators of exhibiting protectionist tendencies, particularly against American tech firms like Meta, Apple, and Google. Can't leave out SpaceX. In his view, some EU policies are anti-American, in big quotes, and risk driving a wedge between allies. Satellite wars, a fight for global influence. These remarks underline the escalating significance of satellite infrastructure in both communication and global power protection. As European nations weigh their options, the decision to align with either American or Chinese satellite technology could influence the continent's future in everything from defense to data sovereignty. Absolutely the case. So, I listen to this stuff and I'm like, what exactly goes on in Europe lately? It's just, in my opinion, such a hot mess. My parents come from Europe. I am the first generation American here, and it's just what I've seen happen with so many different governments in the EU is just, it's appalling. I don't even know what else to say. It is just absolutely unbelievable. They have just did a 180 to what they've always believed in, what they were always about. And just, they went down this path of just nonsense, in my personal opinion. Now, when it comes to this stuff, there's some things that you guys don't even know about that I was doing some research and I found out with the Chinese government and their satellite network that they have. Remember, they have 90 satellites on orbit. That's it. Not 7,135 that SpaceX does. But their project, codenamed GW, as they call it, this is not just launched to be a constellation of 13,000 satellites, as they've said, to be able to provide global internet to the world and all this other nonsense. It is not just designed for global internet. It's also designed to suppress SpaceX Starlink and other larger mega constellations that will eventually be on orbit. It is made to, quote, suppress. This is not something that I'm just making up. This is something that the PLA, or the People's Liberation Army, has stated. It is for suppression, not just global internet. It's also a means of spying, as what they've stated, in quotes, spying, as well as anti-Starlink missions. So specifically targeting SpaceX Starlink. So you have a 13,000, let's say, mega constellation, codenamed GW, that they're putting out. And the PLA has said, yes, it is for suppression. It is also to be able to combat SpaceX Starlink if need be, and spy. So, when you think about something nefarious, that's basically the CCP in general. That's just simply how it is. Now, the Chinese government also requests that Elon Musk stayed any SpaceX Starlink usage in their country. So he's not allowed to have any Starlink usage in China. And I understand that because why? The Great Firewall, as many people call it, and that is their censorship mechanism. They can't have SpaceX Starlink working in the country where its people can get uncensored data. That would be a problem, wouldn't it? Whenever you're dealing with a communist or even some of the socialist countries, they want to be able to manipulate their people. There's an old medieval adage that says, keep your people religious and keep them dumb, and you will always keep them under your thumb. Basically, now with today's, let's say, take on that is basically keep your people away from the truth, away from free speech, away from the actual real facts that are out there. Doesn't matter if they are deemed to be controversial or if they're deemed to be misinformation or they're deemed to what, it doesn't make a difference. Just having access to everything and then you deciding for yourself what you believe in not believe, is basically something they don't want to have available to any of its people. And once again, this isn't just China. This is some socialist countries, and you know which ones, that are basically putting the kibosh on free speech, that are telling you what to believe in and what to listen to and what not to listen to, and what is information and what is disinformation. Who is to discern this, right? And what is information that is true facts as of today ends up fallacy in a year or two, sometimes 10 years down the road. Things that I learned in school are today fallacies, even though they were said to be fact, and I had to learn them and memorize them back in school. They're now incorrect, right? So what is misinformation? What you deem it to be, in my personal opinion. So the Great Wall, the Great Firewall, as they call it, is what they're trying to uphold and not get tore down. And that's why they don't want Elon Musk, SpaceX, Starlink in their country. The other thing I found really interesting is I was digging in deep to this topic, and I found that there were some researchers in China that are specifically developing sophisticated tools for tracking and monitoring mega constellations. Once again, maybe putting these tools either ground-based or even on some of those Project GW satellites, I don't know. But they are specifically designing these sophisticated tools for tracking and monitoring, but not just tracking and monitoring. What I specifically found is that they are strategically interested in not just competing, but also potentially neutralizing rival satellite systems. This goes back to me stating that they are not just building a satellite global internet availability for everyone. No, they're not just building that. They're building something to rival. They're building something to attack. They're building something to suppress. They're building something that will neutralize rival mega constellations. Doesn't matter if it's SpaceX, Starlink, they're targeting them right now, obviously, because they're the biggest. But that would be any mega constellation. Even EU Telsat that is out there. What is it, 10% the size? So if we're at 7,100, so EU Telsat would be sitting at, this is the French company, at about 700 satellites, let's say, and the cost is 10 times greater than SpaceX Starlink. So instead of, let's say, $1,200 they would charge instead of 120, let's just call it. That's why France's EU Telsat is not even an option for Europe. In the end, the EU is going to have to make a decision. They're either going to go with Elon Musk, SpaceX, Starlink, or they're going to have to go with the CCP or the Chinese Communist Party's look-alike, which is that Space Sail or the Project GW, and go with them. But the bottom line here is if they do go with the CCP, I think it's going to be worse off on them because instead of free speech that they're going to have to contend with, they're going to have to contend with the CCP's rules and regulation and their means of neutralizing anything that goes on in the EU, because then they will have complete control over the narrative. The folks over there in the EU will not be able to go to specific websites. They will be locked down just like the Chinese people are. I don't even understand how any country in the EU would want that. But then again, I don't understand what's been going on in Italy and Germany and a lot of the other countries over there either. The way they are classifying misinformation this and misinformation that, and that Elon Musk has to go by their rules of misinformation and then, let's say, turn off certain sites, not allow this, not allow that, and all of these rules and stipulations of Elon Musk, SpaceX being in Europe. It is just absolutely ludicrousy, in my personal opinion. Like, why or how do the people think that that is okay? Because the way I see it, you don't want to be treated as a child, do you? You don't want the master to tell you what to do continuously, right? Well, it doesn't seem to be right in the EU. It seems like the people in the EU like it because they just allow it. You don't have to allow government to do anything. We are the people. We are the government. It doesn't matter if you're in a socialist type of society or in a democracy, let's call it. I hate to even say it. But anyways, either which way, in comparison to communists in Russia, like what you have with the CCP in China, where they are the controlling body, you have nothing to say. If you protest in China and they don't like it, you will luckily get water cannoned, if not another kind of cannon. You know, you're just not going to be around. That's just it. All right? Try to protest over there in Russia for any extended period of time. See how that works out for you, okay? Talking about free speech. You got none. So why would you want something similar to that if you're in the EU? I don't get it. I just simply do not get it. Anyways, maybe you can help me get it. What do you think? What should the EU do? Should they go with the CCP's Project GW or Space Sail or whatever the hell they call it, with 90 satellites on orbit and that's it? Remember, they said they want 13,000 or whatever by 2030. We're at 2025. That's 5 years down the road. It's not possible, guys. It is not possible. They will never get there. As it is now, I've seen so many videos come out of China where they try launching a satellite and then it goes about maybe halfway in space and then falls back down, and you see the people like running around in these cities screaming, "Gayaka, Gayaka," like if it's Godzilla, like back in the 80s or something, and the thing blows up in their backyard, kills a few people, house is gone, doesn't even matter. They're like, "Oh, are you okay with it?" "No? Oh, sorry about that." And they go and launch another one the next day. Okay, this happens all the time. Over here, it's like, "Oh, did you destroy a fern? Because if you did, you're going to be fined. And you're not going to be able to launch your SpaceX Starlink again for probably about maybe half a year until we figure out how many ferns you destroyed so we can charge you for those ferns or some other crazy nonsense." They don't have that problem over there in China, do they? Anyways, guys, down below, what say you? You know what I think about all this. What do you think? Down there, put something. And as I said before, if you're shy, put an emoji. I'm okay with that. Finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all of my merch and my tees and my shirts and my books and everything else over there. If there's something that you like, pick it up. Help support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected. Maybe not through the CCP. And we'll see you in the next one. Love y'all.